Hi guys, welcome back. It's Stormy with another great game, with another very long and epic game here in between NEEB and SERRAL as they're spawning here on Moondance. I believe this game has been played on the ESL tournament. As you can see, it is here a ESL map. Yeah, let me just start by introducing the players really quick to you. As we have spawning in the lower right, in the blue, it is SERRAL from Finland. And in the upper left, in the red, it is NEEB from the States. So very nice international gameplay here in between these two pro players. The United States versus Finland. NEEB, a very well-known player in the States. I believe one of the best, if not the best Protoss. And SERRAL, of course, the world champion. Let's just see exactly what they have prepared for us as the first pro from NEEB here, nicely making its way out just to cancel the first expansion point here from SERRAL. So very nice strategy here by many Protosses really like to do this, just to win a couple of seconds. Every second counts, of course, in a pro game. So nice job here by NEEB cancelling that point. SERRAL has to take, of course, the other expansion point. And let's just check the build order now. From the Protoss, gas is up, pylon into gateway. So the pretty standard stuff, just like we've seen the other Protoss player here on this channel. And yeah, let's see what the options from SERRAL are. Of course, he's continuing with that extractor and that spawning pool. So for him as well, the pretty standard stuff. Just a small difference as his first expansion point has been cancelled really nicely by NEEB. And NEEB also taking now his expansion, feeling very confident. Seeing, of course, that the expansion is up. Let's just check where that probe is. There it is. Of course, the probe also really important just to give vital information what the next buildings are here from SERRAL. So around like the 2 minute and 30 second, 2 minute and 40 second mark, we might see very likely SERRAL move out with his second expansion point. Cybernetic score is up, so just like many Protosses, just like we've seen Hero in the GSL, they now transition into some blinking stalker rush. Really strong push with a shuttle into their army. So that shuttle, of course, really important as it gives the opportunity to teleport those stalkers from the gateway. So this is exactly why the warp is being researched here for the Protoss. So very advanced technology here for the Protoss, as they can even teleport units next to those pylons. And of course, with that warp prism, they can teleport them next to that prism. So a global army, if the Protoss plays it right. Let's just see SERRAL, his first Zerglings are out. And what are the options here for SERRAL? He might go massively into Zerglings, into Banelings, might even transition into some Lurkers, into some Hydras. We've seen Dark actually go Zergling, Hydras and Banelings, so very interesting strategy, really strong, worked out really well for him. And NEEB now continues with his Stargate, so very likely, just like all the Protoss, they like to go into those Oracles just to cripple that economy really good against the Zerg, just to kill as many drones as possible. And at the same time, NEEB is also moving out with some adapts, so we might see a double attack with adapts and with Oracles. First two adapts will be able to snipe some units here as they're shading out. Now heading towards this middle line. Look at that, already 3 kills here for NEEB. NEEB making everything possible here with his adapts. 4 kills now, so those adapts really killing so many drones. He might even transition into mass adapts, and it could have been a possibility without an Oracle, without a Stargate. But yeah, now he's finally adding those gateways. So let's just see what his strategy is going to be. It's going to be mass adapts. It might be mass blinking stalkers. Everything is possible for him. We know how strong blinking stalkers are against the Zerg. We've seen this. I believe Hero was doing this. Oh no, it was actually Creator versus Scarlet here on this channel. So really strong push could be enabled. But at the same time, SERRAL could also go for some rogues. Sorry, for some roaches. A roach push could be also strong push by the Zerg around the 6 minute, around the 7 minute mark. Roaches, Ravagers, really strong against the Protoss as well. The Oracle makes his move here. Just see a drone is here. Spores are of course also being added here by SERRAL, and a nice save here by SERRAL. Great micro, of course, from the world champion from Finland. At the same time, I see actually NEEB taking another expansion. So why harassing? Really smart, taking another expansion here. Worker wise, actually NEEB having 3 more workers here than SERRAL. At the same time, SERRAL tries, of course, to engage here, tries to find some pick up some reinforcements. They might try to add Might try to kill those adepts. But yeah, more and more adepts are being spawned here for NEEB. So this is his strategy. He's going to go into mass adepts. Does he have a prism? No such prism yet. The Overlord now finally sees everything as the Oracles are also moving on. Let's just see how many kills is NEEB going to take. Okay, 4 kills already. 1 drone is being saved. So nice job here by NEEB. At the same time, he's pushing out at around the 5-minute mark with his adept. So it's a nice adept push. Very hard to handle for any Zerg. They can of course shade in and out, and now going for that economy. So always keep the Zerg guessing where exactly he's going to shade in. And yeah, really hard. A nice block here by SERRAL with that Revolution Chamber. At the same time, NEEB attacking of course with those Oracles, 3 Oracles. So hard defense here for the world champion against the player from the United States. And look at that, he's also expanding while attacking. So really smart move by NEEB. The upgrades are also going out here at around the 6-minute mark. There we have Blink, so we might see all of a sudden NEEB retreating and straight transitioning into those blinking stalkers. Like I told you, that they are really strong. So yeah, another expansion here for SERRAL. SERRAL did held quite well. His queens are of course very important for him to defend the base. At the same time, he's going for the tier 2. Is he going to perhaps going for some Mutalisk? Might see some Hydras. Let's see. Well, of course you can see the production tab in the upper left part, just in case I'm missing something. So what exactly is his option going to be? Of course you can also see that the game is really long, so we might see some different strategies. We might see some transition into other armies. Let's have a look what they have prepared for us. Now finally the upgrades are being chrono boosted out here for the Protoss player, and we see many more gateways. So it might be a mass stalker transition here for NEEB around the 7-minute mark. Let's have a look at SERRAL. There is that Grievous of Roach Warrant, also adding a Baneling's Nest. And the upgrades are also going nicely out. Nice illusion here by NEEB, seeing of course everything, seeing those buildings, really important. So most players just have calmed down a little bit. NEEB is not going to attack by the looks of it. Is just deciding to defend of course his expansion point with some stasis traps here against the Zerglings, against the Banelings. And yeah, nice traps here by NEEB. SERRAL caught a little bit of guard. We might see those stalkers come in here. We might see try to surround those units, maybe try to snipe them here by NEEB. Could be a possibility, because even the Oracles are very close by. But of course speed has been done for those Zerglings, so some of them will be sniped. But yeah, in the end SERRAL should be able to get out with most of them. Even a aggressive blink forward, as we once again see NEEB expanding here on the map, also securing that expansion with those adepts. So yeah, we're slowly but steadily closing that 10-minute mark. What exactly is the unit composition? I still see mass Zerglings for SERRAL. Might go into some Banelings. NEEB nicely scouting the proximity with his Phoenix, and he sees that infestation pit. We might see some Fungus. We might see some mind control out of SERRAL, as the layer is of course done. Still mass Zerglings, still some queens at home. No other units are being spawned. Actually 13 more Zerglings, so SERRAL really going massively into those Zerglings. He's very likely going to try to perhaps even sacrifice them, but hold on, actually NEEB sees that unit composition. The Banelings will get some connections, but no, those force fields are really strong. Hold on, but SERRAL comes in from the back with his roaches. Such a strong push here by SERRAL. This could be actually even a winning move by him. Do that how he could snap this one expansion. The probes are a little bit exposed, of course. He's going for that shield battery. Reinforcements are coming in for NEEB. They're getting teleported here. He has the high ground with those targets. Remember, blink is being done, and yeah, more and more is being shown here. But slowly but steadily, the roaches falling here for SERRAL. At the same time, we also see move out with some adepts here by NEEB. Might snipe a queen or two. He might snipe some workers. Finally, he's going for those workers. This push has been held by NEEB really good. At the same time, also a nice adept push, killing 7 drones. We still have those adepts around the map. Some of them are hurt, but the job has been done really nicely. It's 10 workers have fallen here, so still the same work count for both of them. But yeah, both players are trading blows, or of course trying to hurt their economies as much as possible. And we even see a tier 3 now for SERRAL. Let's have a look what exactly his plans are. as we see some zealots are actually being spawned for the Protoss player. So we might see mass zealots into stalkers for NEEB. The upgrades are of course nicely kicking in here. He has 2 forges, goes for those upgrades. I believe it's weapon 2 and armor or plasma shield. Yeah, let's see how that works out for him. Still massive amounts of roaches for SERRAL, as he's just roaming around the map and also having so many expansions around the map. The creep spread is of course really nice. There is no observer sadly here for a NEEB, and interesting enough this one adept is blocking here the exit. So a little bit of a mistake here by NEEB, of course it happens to any pros. Remember, we are still human. Finally the probes get out. So interesting enough, this adept should have not been able to block those probes, as we can see them pass here through, but perhaps a little bit of a glitch in the game, or maybe just too many probes at once trying to make their way here through. So NEEB losing of course a little bit of mining time here, but yeah, it happens of course. Yeah, we see still roaches with buildings and with bangs. No, it was just like dark. Actually SERRAL deciding that roaches could be more comfortable here for him, as he's once again moving out into this point, but there are stasis traps. There are even some organs now being spawned, and yes, SERRAL looks like he's going to commit, but so many stasis traps here against SERRAL, as he's taking so much damage. Perhaps even a transition into Void Race could be an interesting option here for NEEB, as he's going to snipe so many of those roaches. And yeah, the Zerglings are pulling in, but there's zealots in the front, so the stalkers could deal so much damage. The creep is already here, very close to NEEB. To be careful, perhaps needs more and more zealots. The banelings are trying to roll here forward to be able to deal some splash damage. I think it, but there's still Oracle in the airs. And yeah, so looks like he's going to commit, but the micro is really great here for NEEB, as he's blinking out of danger with the hurted stalkers. Once again he's going to snipe roach after roach, so good hold by him. Of course he took some casualties, but in the end he has also nicely held, as his oracles might try to move out. Here on the map, 10 kills on this one, 13 on this one, 14 on this one, so oracles really strong. Hero has even shown us mass oracles, 6 oracles. I'm going to snipe some queens. Let's see if NEEB is going to be able to make something happen here. No, he's just casting the star spell just to have vision. So nice star here for the Protoss, just to have that vision. And now finally there is an observer out, so NEEB can be able to clear the creep as fast as possible. At the same time he's also expanding here. The Overlord sees it, but hold on, we have an engagement in the middle of the map. The zealots are in the front. SERRAL has to retreat, he has to regroup, so some units are hurt. The banelings do get some connections, but remember the upgrades here for NEEB are slowly but steadily showing their pace. Really strong stuff here by NEEB, showing us how important those upgrades are, of course, in the middle of the game. And yeah, those stalkers are really tanky, and he's nicely microing them out of danger. We do have some lurkers now. There is the star spell just to see them, but remember NEEB also has that observer. It should be here, there it is. Is it getting surrounded by some sort of purple birds here? So yeah, really nice job by NEEB with this one observer, of course, giving him vision onto Moon Dance. So many Zerglings here. NEEB tries to find the high ground, but sadly for him his stalkers are now getting surrounded. Reinforcements are coming in, but they're also taking damage. And yeah, now SERRAL has to retreat, as the oracles also found their way here forward. So interesting balanced game here in between them. Both of them of course hurting each other. And yeah, NEEB taking this expansion, as SERRAL is also taking this one. But SERRAL, interesting enough, goes for those lurkers. Very good against zealots, and he's moving out now with his Zerglings. Of course he's snapping the pylon just to empower everything. And now yeah, power has been lost, so the units can't be teleported. And yeah, SERRAL might even be able to snap this location here. In comes NEEB, however, but yeah, the Nexus has been snapped. A very good job here by SERRAL, killing this one Nexus, denying some mining time. This is going to lose one or two, or some Zerglings actually, but it's all worth it that the expansion has fallen. And yeah, let's see the answer from NEEB. What exactly is he going for? Is he going to stay into those gateway units? But no, hold on, look at that, we have actually double robo bay with immortals, and we even have some high templar storms. Remember, one high templar can cast 2 storms. We have another engagement here. Lurkers are bored, but the star spell sees them, of course, so nice looking star spell here for NEEB. having vision of those lurkers. And a good flank here by NEEB as he's even blocking the entrance. Not be able to kill some of those Zerg units. And yeah, the lurkers are bored, but they are being of course identified with the star spell. So nice job here by NEEB. Once again, good ball, but this time great storms by NEEB, catching so many units, so many Zerglings. Nicely kiting back and forward, he's casting the storms, then going into that Archon. In come the Zealots, in come the Archon, but of course the position is pretty good for SERRAL as he's regrouping now. NEEB tries a flank, his units are hurt, but he has so many units as well. So many action going on all over the place, as we also see some banings try to move forward here for SERRAL into this location. A nice block here by NEEB with the Zealots. Great reaction here by him, microing those probes out of danger. And yeah, this should of course be held by the Oracle and by the cannon. So nice job here by NEEB. Very fast reaction time for him. As he's now splitting his troop, he's perhaps going to try a double attack into different location with some Immortals, with some Archons. So this is his transition, middle of the game. Archons with Immortals. What is NEEB's answer? He still has Lurkers. Now he finally has some Vipers. Perhaps he's going to cast some Blinding Clouds. Or maybe he's going to torpedo those Archons and those Immortals. Let's have a look what exactly is going to happen. There is that one Harpoon. I meant not torpedo, Harpoon. Oh yeah, nice Harpoon. But look at those storms. Those storms are really deadly against the Zerg. Nice Storm. Finally NEEB showing us the strengths of those High Templars, just like in Starcraft 1 and Starcraft 2 as well. So yeah, the Immortals really strong, tanking so much damage. Same can be said for the Archon, who has dealt so much splash damage against the Zerglings. And yeah, NEEB still on a double army here. SERRAL as well has to split his troops, but the Zerglings will of course stand no chance against the Archon, against the Immortal. Let's have a look. Is he going to commit? But no, as soon as he sees that High Templar storm, he has of course to retreat. He has to go back to Blight just to replenish his HP, his hit points. Yeah, we still have Lurkers with Hydras. We see some Zealots. Perhaps they will be sacrificed here. Perhaps NEEB is going to transition into some other units. As slowly but steadily we're closing at the 20-minute mark. So the Zealots on a suicide mission. Let's have a look what exactly can they do. No, they're just being surrounded. I believe NEEB just sacrificed those Zealots. What exactly is he going for? Let's just check the production building, and there it is. He actually has carriers now. He's going for those carriers and High Templar storms with interceptors. Yeah, nice job here by NEEB. Now he's going for a air unit. So all of a sudden at around the 20-minute mark, close to the 20-minute mark, we're going to see mass carriers. SERRAL very likely going to have to transition into those corruptors. Perhaps even some Broodwars. Let's just see what his options are going to be. Or mass Hydras with spores could also be an option. At the same time, Infestors with the orange looking spell, with the orange Dark Swarm spell, might also be needed against those carriers in the air. Let's see if SERRAL is going to eat his oranges. What exactly is going to happen here? More carriers will very likely join the fleet from NEEB. At the same time, another expansion in here. SERRAL showing his presence in the middle of the map, very likely going for this one expansion point. SERRAL knows this of course, as he's also adding some spine crawlers and even a Nidus network here. So yeah, let's have a look. SERRAL still on the defense. NEEB creating more and more interceptors, and of course having those High Templar storms, 4 of them, really strong unit. However, at the same time he's going to cancel this expansion point, just roaming around the map. Perhaps a mothership would also be a nice idea for NEEB, as he could recall some units. Although we actually see a worm now being casted here for SERRAL, and let's just see, there are some units into him. So what exactly can this do? At the same time he's attacking with his Zerglings, and look at that, a storm actually not dealing damage towards those Zerglings as they are into that stasis trap, and in come those Zerglings might be able to snap this location in here. We actually see a teleport back, we see a recall with some carriers, so the carriers should of course be able to take care of this. Nice recall by him. And interesting enough, the Zerglings didn't take damage while being stasis trapped out of the High Templar storm. We see yet another worm being spawned here by SERRAL into this location, and let's see, NEEB looking like he's prepared for that. He's also having some units here, and yeah, no units actually coming out from here, just the one worm. At the same time, SERRAL moving out with his Lurkers, with his Overseers, but yeah, just to scare NEEB a little bit. So it's a nice strategy by both of them. interesting back and forth game here by both of them. Massive amounts of spores by NEEB actually, sorry, by SERRAL, just to get rid of those interceptors. Some overlords are being sacrificed. Let's have a look. The Archons are really strong. NEEB has to regroup very likely his units. You actually see some Broodlords in the air. We also might see some Corruptors. Not that many Corruptors, but still, of course, SERRAL has to go massive anti-air. All these minis, mass Corruptors. Some probes have been sniped, but I believe that NEEB very likely has sent those probes to get suicided, to die, so that NEEB gets more army supply. NEEB at 135 versus 130. He needs to be careful not to get flanked by those Broodlords. We even have this one Infestor casting a nice hunger here against those units. One Archon is going to get sniped, and yeah, many more units will take damage. At the same time, we see a nice move out here by NEEB, cancelling that one expansion, and we will see the Broodlords now getting stasis trapped. So yeah, let's see what the next steps are going to be, as the High Templars have full energy now. One High Templar can of course cast 2 storms against SERRAL. NEEB is finally regrouping. It's a very interesting mix of units: Archons, Immortals, High Templars, Carriers. And what does SERRAL have? Hydras, Lurkers, Corruptors, Vipers, and those Broodlords, of course. A very deadly unit against the ground unit from the Protoss, but also very slow moving unit. Low attacking unit, still pretty much tanky, but it needs that backup. It needs those Corruptors, it needs those Hydras. And yeah, there it is, massive amounts of spores. SERRAL is pretty much once again waiting for NEEB to do the first attack. So once again we have 2 splits of armies. NEEB tries to secure his expansions, tries to make sure that SERRAL is not expanding as well. But SERRAL has this expansion here, so we have a small of a waiting game here for SERRAL. He has to defend, he has to spread that speed. He has to spread that creep, and yet the Archon is in the front, of course, as those rocks will be targeted as well here by NEEB, just to create more space. At the same time, we see now an army move out, but there's so many Corruptors. See some harpoons against the carriers, so one carrier is going to get sniped. Of course, SERRAL showing us the importance for those Vipers with those harpoons, just sniping one carrier after the other. So the question is NEEB going to commit in here? Of course, he is in a danger zone, as the Vipers can cast more and more harpoons. And let's have a look at that. He's even harpooning the Oracle, but now eating a nice High Templar Storm. So of course NEEB is not going to just abandon that unit. No one is being left behind without a fight. So nice Storm here, as we once again see that star spell onto those creatures. So he has vision now of those creatures, he sees everything with that star spell. So nice job. NEEB very aggressively expanding here next to the border from SERRAL here with his creep. And at the same time the Lurkers are moving forward, and we finally see the Mothership. An interesting strategy, he's regrouping his units. He's going to cast so many spells. And yeah, nice job here by NEEB, showing us the strengths of the Mothership, as it can of course recall those units next to it. So great job by him, showing SERRAL how mobile he can be with this teleport, and also showing us of course the advanced strategy of the Protoss. Let's see what this NATO Sumo is going to be. Currently it's pretty much empty. We might see a strong engagement here by those feedbacks, those harpoons, really nicely. The Mothership is nicely getting Michael back, and it might stay alive here. Great High Templar Storm. The Corruptors are taking so much damage. We even see some is now adding into the army, so nice transition into all of those units, and a great mix. The Worm is still here, but it's going to get sniped by Dark Templars. At the same time we see some Zergs move out, tries of course to snipe as many workers as possible, and we see the Tempest of course taking care of those other overlords. So yeah, NEEB with a very aggressive move out here. SERRAL of course is going to engage, but allow this expansion to grow more and more. And yeah, in comes NEEB with his Archons, with his Immortals, and there should be of course a Overseer, no, hold on, Observer of course. So yeah, he very likely needs that Observer, so whatever it is, Observer of course counter those Lurkers. So let's see what exactly is going to happen. NEEB with his new expansion here of course has to defend it. At the same time this base is pretty nice defended here with those cannons. We don't actually see an engagement here, but there's just so many spores against those interceptors. Nice feedback, nice relevance with a star spell once again. Yeah, NEEB just waits for that perfect attempt to cast those high temper storms. You once see SERRAL just playing around with his worms as he's going to try a move out here by NEEB just to try to force him to recall back, just to try to leave some units back, but it's just a fake worm here. No units out. NEEB knows this, of course. Not going to engage yet, but hold on, we actually see a nice snap here, nice harpoons. Those Tempests are very slow. You can be said about those Corruptors, but still so many Tempests have been snapped here. A very nice job by SERRAL. Sadly for NEEB, he wasn't in the range for those shield batteries, but yeah, still a good attempt by him. So nice transition now for NEEB into those Tempests, and yeah, he might even try to go Void Ray, he might even try to go Mass Stalkers. Let's see what his options are as we see more and more Infestors being added. Infestors with Fungal, and yeah, the probes, look at that, he's trying to suicide those probes just to have more and more army supply, but yeah, SERRAL is not going to engage yet. Now finally clears those probes, so nice stuff here by NEEB. And look at that, he's at only 46 workers, throwing everything towards that army supply. His economy is of course going to allow this, but yeah, the army supply from SERRAL is also very strong. 145, so such a nice game in between them. Finally, some observers will be sniped here as SERRAL finally decides to commit. Those Protoss are a bit exposed, so he needs to be careful. The Tempest might try to snap them. At the same time now, NEEB put his main force into this location, but there's so many spores, so he needs to be careful. Nice Fungals going out. There's once again a mothership making those units invisible, just like the Arbiters in Starcraft 1. And yeah, great sniping here by NEEB. Going to take out a couple of Corruptors, and the spores will also fall against those fireballs from the Tempest. So nice job here by NEEB, showing his presence. Not going to allow any other games here by SERRAL. And yeah, SERRAL tries of course with a small unit composition with some Zerglings to move out against this Nexus. So slowly but steadily, of course the Zerglings are much faster than the other Protoss units. And they're also attacking really strong. So the Nexus has been sniped. And retreat now. A small victory here for SERRAL. And slowly but steadily we're closing at the 30-minute mark. So such an epic game we have here. The Broodwars are moving forward and being backed up by those Infestors. We get Tempest are here. Are we going to see some feedbacks? Yes indeed. Nice feedback, nice Storm, nice Fungals. So all the spells are being casted here by them. And those Tempests are really being very aggressive now. Just trying to snipe unit after unit. Need to be careful against those Fungals. Big Fungals here onto those Tempests as they get invisible underneath that mothership. So yeah, SERRAL preparing another attack with some ultra risk now, so he might try to engage here with that tanky unit. Is he going to commit or is he going to defend? Let's just have a look what his options are. We see more star spells do reveal those units, and slowly but steadily one building after the other is being sniped here by NEEB. I believe NEEB is going to very likely try to kill off all of the buildings here from SERRAL. This is slowly but steadily attacking. We see some great Fungals, but some great high tempo storm. Nice job here. The mothership is still alive as she's casting that bubble, that red bubble here against SERRAL. So nice job here by both players. But in the end, a victory here for NEEB as he's at the high ground and he nicely micro those units out of danger. And yeah, the red bubble also giving him more tankiness. And yeah, nice unit composition here by SERRAL with those Tempests, as he's now going to be able to snipe the one hatchery. So good job by him. Might even try to snipe some workers. So SERRAL still licking his wounds at home. At the same time he's trying to move out. A little bit of a chaos move here by SERRAL. SERRAL in deep trouble as more and more workers will fall for him. So 17 workers have been sniped. NEEB at 36 versus the 43. We might see some feedbacks, some teleports at home. Those Protoss are very much exposed, so SERRAL once again playing with fire as NEEB is just going to march forward. But hold on, we have some mind control onto those Archons. And now finally they're getting sniped. Let's have a look. Nice Fungals here as more and more damage is being taken by NEEB, but he's also sniping those ultra risk lurkers all on the ground. The mothership is still alive, very much tanky, and yeah, NEEB is just pushing more and more forward as he's sniping hatchery after hatchery and worm after worm. So nice job here by NEEB with his invisible immortals, with his Archons, with his observers. Really nice job. Let's have a look what SERRAL still has. those Protoss, those infestors are going to be really important. And some corruptors, actually many corruptors in the air against the Tempest, against the mothership. Yeah, slowly but steadily more and more buildings are going to get snapped here for SERRAL, as well as the spores will of course give more and more aid towards the army from the Protoss. Actually those are minecrawlers, so let's have a look what exactly is going to happen. Nice kiting back and forth, the Nexus even is invisible. So interesting enough that mothership even gives invisibility towards this one Nexus. So yeah, the Tempest of course with their high range going to be able to snap the buildings there. And also notice how the pylon has been added here by NEEB, as he's going to add more and more units to the teleportation point. So yeah, nice job here by NEEB, showing us of course that technology from the Protoss. He has so many high temperatures with Storm. Oh no, hold on, he's actually going for mass batteries. So this is his intention, just to push with mass batteries. And he's now even with the Void Rays in the air. Void Rays dealing so much damage, but he needs to be careful. There come so many corruptors, and he's actually deciding to retreat, teleport out of danger. So we have two engagements here into this high part and into the low part, but it looks like NEEB having the much more stronger unit composition with Void Rays, with Tempest, with Archons. Let's see what SERRAL can do against this. More and more damage is being taken, more and more hatcheries are being lost. But a little bit of a mistake here. NEEB needs to be careful not to lose so many Void Rays. Now he's activating that overcharge. We see some harpoons, so nice micro here by both players. Tempest are still attacking those. And it's nice storm. The star spell has been casted, and more units are falling left and right. So great micro here by both players. At the same time, in comes SERRAL with his ultra-risk, trying to snipe of course one of the last mining expansions from NEEB. Workers will fall, but at the same time SERRAL very likely going to suicide his units here. No, he's just sniping the Nexus and retreating. Sadly for NEEB, he's not paying attention. Those Void Rays are very much exposed. And SERRAL is of course going to take this nice gift from NEEB. Great fungus are now once again being casted, but the units are really tanky with their shields, as we've passed of course the 30-minute mark, so still anyone's game here. NEEB's falling to 25 workers, but that's okay. He has so much supply into army, still his economy is strong as he's roaming around with his mothership and with his Tempest. Yeah, some carriers are still here, some Void Rays, so pretty much all of the units have been used here by both players. A nice sneaky expansion attempt here by SERRAL, not getting detected by NEEB. Let's have a look at the SERRAL. He still has so many infestors, of course. Mind control could be casted, corruptors and Broodwars, and some spores, of course the spores against those interceptors and against those other units. But yeah, those Tempests will be nicely kiting back and forth and just killing unit after unit here. Star Spell once again onto that one creep. So yeah, the Tempest, very strong unit laid on just to snipe, just to kite back and forth, and yeah, just to snipe unit after unit. Still this one expansion could actually go through here for SERRAL, so NEEB not really punishing that one. There is, I believe, the expansion here. This has been mined out. The lurkers do move forward, but I believe no, he's actually also mining from here. But this expansion point is going to be of course really important for NEEB. And this one nice hidden expansion by SERRAL, somehow he made it through with one drone, but he needs to be careful not to show his expansion with those Zerglings. And there is even a Zergling here just to check out what exactly is going to happen, as SERRAL is going to engage here. But interesting enough, killing an expansion that is not mining. Perhaps he's just wanting to kill more buildings as possible just to finish this game like that. Yeah, in comes NEEB, very close to SERRAL's location. Remember, in Starcraft you can win the game by killing all of the buildings on the opponent, and luckily here for SERRAL his expansion is even finished. He might even try to mine some minerals. Yes, yeah, let's have a look. The middle of the map is pretty much in control by NEEB as he's regrouping here. SERRAL, the same can be said here for him. Vipers with Broodwars, with Infestors. Is he going to cast mind control onto that Archons? Could be an interesting idea. And the Lurkers with Ultra Risk finally going to deal some damage, but the Void Rays are of course the perfect counter against those units. Yeah, still SERRAL not deciding to make some drones here, of course, just producing units after units. And yeah, let's see what exactly is going to happen. SERRAL looking like he's going to regroup very aggressively here towards the main production buildings from NEEB going to try to kite. Perhaps NEEB is going to come in from the back. There are some quick X here just to see what exactly is going on. And yeah, SERRAL tries of course to find a good position. He's sending out some Zerglings with ultras, so the Zerglings of course being sacrificed here just to snap some buildings. But the Void Rays are of course really fast, and NEEB tries perhaps to surround those units. It could be an interesting idea. And there goes that overcharge. We have some parasitic bombs against all of those Void Rays. And yeah, NEEB is to of course attack here. SERRAL retreating, knowing of course that this force is so strong. As another star spell is going to see all of those units. Yeah, we're slowly but steadily closing at the 40-minute mark. Such an interesting game by both of them, and still SERRAL not deciding to go for some drones here. How many workers? He has 40 drones with 24 for NEEB. So NEEB pretty much throwing everything he has into his army. It's 164 army versus 158. Such a crazy game. Of course in the late game you really want to suicide your workers and just go really heavily into those army units. Let's have a look. We see some nice harpoons. Every single unit counts now very much. As the Broodwars show of course their strengths, as well as they will be able to snap some of those shield batteries at the same time. So move out with those ultras, with those servants on the ground, and some pylons could be snapped here just to stop the production. But we see some Dark Templars here for NEEB. At the same time, SERRAL pretty much going to commit. We might see a flank here. See what exactly is going to happen. But flank could be very crucial here for NEEB. Sorry, for SERRAL, as we see the Tempest now engaging. We see great harpoons. Tempest after Tempest is going to get sniped. He of course has to evade the Void Rays, overcharge, and sniping unit after unit. So just like the Tempest is kiting back and forward, SERRAL is now kiting back and forward with his Vipers, with his Colossi, with his Corruptors, and the Vipers might try to suck some HP, some energy out of those units. Still the expansion not pumping out anything. NEEB mining from this location and this location as well, as we see some, once again, some shield batteries being spawned here by him. So nice strategy by him, of course, replenishing so much of that energy here for NEEB with this one pylon and with those shield batteries, as some drones could be sacrificed here. Let's see what the ideas from SERRAL are. And even Psionic Storm being used against some changelings. He might want to leave those Psionic Storms for the real damage here against those Corruptors, against those Broodlings and Infestors. Yeah, let's see. He's trying of course to kite back and forth. Not that many Tempests being left alive. He might try to transition into more Void Rays. He might try to make some more Archons. And yeah, let's see what exactly is going to happen. Somehow those drones have been transferred here into the location. NEEB still not knowing about this location, but hold on, we actually see a pylon now being placed. Going to be a little bit of a surprise here for NEEB, as he's going to see this one expansion, and he is very likely going to immediately want to take it out. And come some changes. Of course SERRAL tries to buy some time, but yeah, NEEB is pretty much going to commit now straight towards this expansion point. SERRAL is going to try perhaps to keep as much as possible, mine as much as possible, gas as possible, and yeah, sorry, he workers have fallen 6 works and the hatcher is going to get sniped. What is SERRAL reaction? He's in the middle of the map, going for this unit, for these buildings, and yeah, down goes the shield battery, and there's also robotic spray here. So SERRAL once again might try to own some units. Next Nexus is pretty much exposed now. He might even try to vomit onto this one Nexus with his Corruptors. He might try to vomit once again, but no, it's just keeping that energy for anything else. And the other Corruptors once again will be sniping unit after unit. A very strong strategy here by SERRAL. He's going to harpoon those units and just snap them one by one. Interesting jump. Waiting now for that energy to be respawned. And yeah, NEEB in the back, mining from this base. Yeah, 28 workers for NEEB, 33 for SERRAL. Yes, still those Broodwars are in the air, Corruptors as well. So what can be the plan here from NEEB? Perhaps he's going to try to transition into mass Stalkers. Could be interesting, as those Stalkers of course are very good against the air units, given the fact that the Corruptors would be pretty much useless if they would face mass Stalkers. Or even Archons would have been an interesting idea, mass Archons here for NEEB, but then of course Anu knows of course pretty much better than me. And yeah, now building after building is going to get sniped. Serral looking like he's pretty much going to commit here against NEEB as he's launching attack after attack, and the Vipers are in the front. Having the Tempest, in comes NEEB from the back, but he might get interceptors by the interceptors. Fighting Infestors, sorry. And he has so much splash damage. I don't really agree with his item to storm against the changelings. I believe he should cast that one for the real army here. We are already casting 2 item to storm. The Archons have to deal now against those Broodlords. We see the red bubble once again. And he has so much damage being taken by both players. Nice fungals here by very nice harpoons. Now there's a little bit of a failed high tempo storm, so every energy counts here for those high templars for the NEEB. Once again the buildings are being targeted. Tempests are nicely kiting back and forth. The spores try to get back safety. Yeah, still the Vipers will be so much important here for SERRAL, as yeah, those Tempests are also nicely sniping unit after unit. Hold on, we actually have an attack here. Beat some Zerglings. SERRAL tries to make something happen, but NEEB is coming back with his Void Rays. So yeah, Zerglings laid on really cheap unit to have and to attack. So this is exactly why NEEB is going to add a wall of cannons. Let's see what SERRAL is going to be doing, just kiting around with his Broodlords, with his Corruptors. And yeah, NEEB of course knows that the production buildings will very likely get targeted really soon. Yeah, SERRAL is looking like he's pretty much going to commit with his Broodlords, around 10 Broodlords, going for the pylons, empowering some of those gateways, and trying to kill as much as he can. There is even one Dark Templar going to get so many kills, but there is an Overseer. So what exactly is the reaction from NEEB? Is he might try to come back here from the back into Zerglings, or even overpowering. And where exactly is that main force? There it is. Now going for those Corruptors, overcharge onto those Void Rays, but SERRAL immediately retreating as he sees that overcharge onto those Void Rays with their white beam. So yeah, let's see what SERRAL's going to try to snipe some units here. Infestors still with lots and lots of energy. Wounds once again against everything SERRAL can catch. It's like a fisher is going to catch unit after unit. Nice high tempo storm this time, but the micro is really strong by SERRAL as he's bungling all of those units, sniping unit after unit, and now even the Corruptors are moving forward. The Mothership is getting casted. There's the Dread Bubbles as well, but yeah, it's going to be a little bit too late. And yeah, the Red Bubble will of course force a little bit back SERRAL, but at the same time the Tempests are moving forward. Here comes the Viper. Great storm this time by NEEB, but the micro is just really strong here by SERRAL. He's so fast, taking of course damage, but still microing his units really well. Yeah, by the end of it, still the same army supply for both of them. Kill anyone's game. However, the Mothership has been sniped. Is NEEB going to try to go for another Mothership? That's the question here. Let's just have a look what exactly is going to happen as those Zerglings pretty much exposed here in the middle of the map. And yes, SERRAL just replenishing his HP here onto that Zerg round. And yeah, let's have a look what the next steps are going to be here. Slowly but steadily, we of course have passed the 40-minute mark. Such an interesting game. SERRAL is going to lose this base. The force of the Protoss is really strong. In time, SERRAL reacting immediately, attacking this one Nexus, wishing to snipe it, perhaps some vomit onto that Nexus, but yeah, no vomit is needed. As yeah, those units will be really strong here without vomit. And yeah, let's have a look at the Zerglings are now moving forward into this location, trying to snap the star gates on the Protoss. And yeah, so much damage being taken here by the Protoss. Of course, his army unit isn't that fast now. Yeah, those Zerglings are pretty much rolling in. Finally, in comes SERRAL with his Corruptors. He's forcing a fight here. The Void Rays have teleported back. There are those harpoons. He's sniping one Void after the other, but he has to retreat as the overcharge is once again being activated towards those Void Rays. Yeah, nice job here by SERRAL, once again sniping unit after unit. There's the star spell, and we see the Broodlords once again sniping building after building, so action going on up and right. Let's have a look what exactly is going to happen as in come those Tempests. But yeah, Fungus have been casted. The Void Rays don't have overcharge, but this could be a good attack. We see some nice parasitic bombs. So much flash damage being taken here by NEEB. And yeah, he needs to be careful. That parasitic bomb really hurting him so strong. A nice job here by SERRAL with that parasitic bomb. 17 workers have been sniped. There's just 15 left versus the 17. The Mothership once again getting harpooned and immediately getting killed. Yeah, so many Protoss units have been hurt with that parasitic bomb, as we see the orange dark swarm spell just to make those units on the ground more tankier. At the same time, in come those servants here from SERRAL and going to kill many of those workers. The Nexus might get snapped, but now NEEB in position to defend. 4 workers only being left here by NEEB, but that's okay. He has 176 army supply, so he's just pumping everything he has into that army. Let's see how that's going to work out for him. Once again, a High Templar Storm being casted, so 9 workers is going to try to mine, of course, every single mineral of this map. And yes, SERRAL still into this location with his Protoss, with his corruptors, of course, spores once again to give a little bit more tankiness. And there's so many Tempests here for NEEB as he's pretty much transitioned straight into massive amounts of an army. 182 army supply here for NEEB. Pretty much insane, very rarely seen versus the under 53 here only for SERRAL. There goes the feedback, there goes the fungal once again. More and more feedbacks. The Vipers try to cast those harpoons and try to cast more and more damaging spell, but in come the Void Rays in the front. SERRAL kiting back and forward. NEEB tries of course to snipe unit after unit. The star spell has been casted. More and more units will fall left and right. Nice fungal, very big fungal here. And once again, parasitic bombs. So much splash damage here against the Protoss. Look at all of those HP falling really low. NEEB looking like he's pretty much going to commit here. His queens are even here just to heal the units up. So much damage being taken left and right. The Protoss are still in the air. The carriers don't have so many more interceptors being left. And yeah, it looks like somehow SERRAL is having here the advantage, but no one hold on. The reinforcements are pouring in here forward for NEEB. So much action being taken at the same time. His expansion is going to fall here just for 3 Zerglings. Queens are still here. The spores are still attacking everything they can. But yeah, NEEB still having a strong force of so many Tempests, so many carriers and zealots on the ground with 1 Dark Templar. As NEEB is now marching forward, SERRAL has to retreat, he has to wait for more and more energy, perhaps waiting for some Vipers. But yeah, no production for both players, pretty much no more minerals being left. Some Vipers are in the air, great fungal and great parasitic bomb, and it could be that parasitic bomb just is going to win the game here for SERRAL. Yes indeed, there's so much splash damage in the end. Both players have fallen really low into that supply, so such a crazy game here, almost 50 minutes, and I believe in the end the fungal and those parasitic bombs for SERRAL won him the game. That army from NEEB was way much higher into the supply, 30 more supply here against SERRAL. But yeah, those spells by the Zergs are really important, and let's not forget those harpoons by those Vipers. But yeah, in the end I believe fungals and parasitic bomb, perfect counter here being found by the world champion against those Tempests, against those carriers. Of course he knows that they don't move so fast, so yeah, he's just pretty much the magician here with fungals, with parasitic bomb. And yeah, nice strategy. If you're a Zerg in the late game against the Protoss, pretty much you will have to do it just like SERRAL with those Infestors, with those Vipers. And yeah, NEEB finding a really strong unit composition. Those Tempests really strong, those Archons as well. High Templars of course really strong, and the Void Rays of course. But yeah, in the end SERRAL just proving to be a little bit too strong here against the player from the United States. So such a nice game. Once again, I hope you enjoyed. We'll be seeing you of course in the next casts. This is Tommy signing out.